What's really good? I am MTV Malik. He is Ace Metaphor. This is 224 The Basement. Yo, Ace, what's good with you?
Man, I don't know. Like I, uh, I gotta say, taking that time off for Juneteenth, taking that time off for Father's Day and all of that, that was good. It's fantastically relaxing. Um, apologies we didn't do the pod, but fuck that, we do what we want.
We
Um,
sure as fuck do.
right, and no, it was rejuvenating, I will say. But somehow I'm still fucking tired because shit just keeps fucking happening. And as a civil minded adult, it is my duty to be informed. But god damn it, I just want to be an ignorant idiot for like 72 hours and not know that the world's on fire.
Yeah, fucking 2020. That one's going. What you sipping on?
I got the Sapporo once again, back with the incredible. I had a bold rock, but I killed that shit before we started. So my bad.
Starting early?
It's Sunday, bro. You know what I do with my Sundays. Them shits are sacred. So I do what the fuck I want. Time is an illusion. I ain't gotta wait till 5.
No doubt. Let's go ahead and jump into it. What is the
let's
first?
yeah, let's jump into it.
Oh, what's up?
Yes, because for once I don't have the rant here today. I believe that Representative MTV Malik would like the floor to address a little something he got on his chest. Is it, if I remember correctly?
You talking about the Saniac podcast shit?
I believe. See, I don't even know who the fuck they are.
They were the people who I was addressing in that video I put out, and like we've tangled with other podcasts before. It's not a feeling I like. Normally, I like to I work with a whole bunch of other podcasts. We run into each other and stuff all the time, so I try not to like trash them or beef with them. We did it before. It's really
you gotta spread love. It's
yeah, exactly. My first introduction to them was when this guy named Mikey P, he was dating somebody on the challenge. He was getting dragged for old tweets, and they had him on the show. And I was listening to the show. I thought he did a good job of explaining himself, how he was baited into making these comments, and how sorry he is. And he didn't say nothing racist, and I was just like, all right, yo, that's pretty cool. I actually believe you. I actually believe people should probably lay off a little bit. So shit between us was always copacetic, but I don't really listen to them like that. We just, kind of move past each other.
Right.
I noticed some slick shit a couple of weeks ago. Somebody will say some shit about us and they'll like it. And then what happened is I started selling, I put all of the seasons of the challenge on the Google Drive and started selling access to it.
Right.
And I posted it, and the girl from the show, she goes, oh, it is so disheartening when I see people trying to sell this content. There are free options out there. You don't have to pay for this, something along those lines. And I was just like, most people are aware that most shit is free on the internet. But some people don't feel like having to go through the hoops. I made it because I was having a lot of difficulty with these drives, these Google Drives out there that had the episodes on it. Because sometimes there's too many people on it. You can't stream it. A whole bunch of other shit. But, I put up my own money. I compiled all of these things, put it together, and put it out there for it's like $3 a season. Like nothing crazy.
Come on, man. You're a gangster and a gentleman for that.
But what made me feel some kind of way about it, because like, yo, you digging in my pockets. Now, we two different breeds. We play by different rules. And there's special rules for somebody who goes in somebody else's pocket. But I was like, you know what? Maybe she had the best of intentions. Keep it pushing.
Okay. Look at you trying to be the bigger man.
But every time but I noticed that when I post stuff, they got something to say about it. I posted my feelings on the Jordan versus Nia thing, the guy from the challenge who said all the racist stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and they're like, this is inaccurate. I was like, well, this is my spin on how I felt about it,
My opinion.
Yeah, you could just shut the fuck up about it. So, or if I post up, some news or tea, they'd be like, oh, I don't believe this at all. Well, you don't have to. This is something on the internet that I'm not verifying. So take everything with a grain of salt. And every time I turn around, somebody got something to fucking say. And I let it slide for long enough, and that's why I kind of popped off on them. And the funny thing about it is, they swear to God, they just think they're so much fucking better than everybody. And it's just like, yeah, you got some white guy, and you got a North African Jewish female who doesn't identify as white. And don't get me wrong, they try to be so above us and try to tell us, how we should feel. Like with the whole Jordan thing, they're just like, oh yeah, he grown so much, and cancel culture is so terrible. And I hate it when white people tell us when we have to stop canceling somebody or how we should feel about a certain situation. They're like, and he's like, the people who don't allow a civil discord, you're part of the problem.
Oh.
Or white people telling me that I'm part of the problem when it comes to racist people. Like, y'all covering for him. Y'all have no problem just saying, like, oh, everything he did was okay, and he's learned from it. And in that clip, I got a little fired up, and at the end, I was like, fuck y'all. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. And now that I had a couple of days to think about it, I take all that shit back. Yo, fuck both of y'all. Because I tell you what, if Jordan first off said, if Naya was a Jewish female and Jordan said something like, oh, you're going to see some kike shit here, and made fucking pantomiming rap motions, I bet you would feel pretty fucking different about the whole thing. I mean, that would be also disgusting and wrong too. And then while she's telling it, she was just like, this is the funniest thing too. She was just like, and I don't want to take anything away from the Black Lives Movement because, they need the attention right now. But people have called me a rat on Twitter, and that is so disrespectful to the Jewish community. And so I don't want to make it about myself. And then proceeds to make it about herself. And the plight of Jewish people in Northern Africa, which I'm pretty sure that they don't have it that bad there. But we all know how bad Jews has had it. Jews have been kicked around a lot. Yeah. And it's not a Black Lives Matter versus anti-Semitic thing. They're both fucking terrible. Absolutely. But I don't need that chapter telling me how I should feel or when I should apologize for when something that affects the African American community. And several other black people were just like, y'all should probably just shut the fuck up. I mean, everybody has their opinions, but, let the black, and
let us get this off. Like,
right. And one of the things they always say, like, oh, we like to have conversations, and if you disagree with us, let us know. We always have an open forum. And, I put that shit up like mad long ago. You know what I heard from them? Not a fucking thing.
Oh, damn. Crickets? Okay. I mean, I don't understand. Like, if somebody's down for civil discourse, or they want to have a real discussion about something, like, we can do it. I love to chop it up with people who actually want to have a conversation. One, I don't do that shit on social media. Fuck out of here. Like, we're not having this conversation on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. No, not doing that.
It's too
shit.
Self-serving.
I don't believe anybody who is trying to have that conversation in a public forum, because it never goes well. It's the same thing if you in the lunchroom and you trying to have a discussion with somebody, and then somebody else jumps in like, "Ooh, I wouldn't let them talk to me like that," and then somebody acts the fuck up.
These are facts, and I'm going to counter you here. I don't want to sit here and be like, these people are fucking terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're fucking assholes. But I don't want to sit here and just bash them all day like they're so fucking terrible. They have had African-American people come on the show, African-American castmates, and they have discussed it.
Okay.
So I'm not saying they're all 100% terrible. I'm just saying when it comes to me.
Get off my dick.
Exactly.
Everyone didn't read, get off my dick.
Right. When I post something, when I say something, motherfuckers always got something to say. Yo, fuck out of here with all that shit. And if you got an issue with me, like I said on my last podcast, Malik is always willing to take a day off of work and travel up to 1,500 miles to settle shit any day of the week. But I'm not trying to take it here nor there. Just fucking stay clear of me. Keep my fucking name, keep my pie name out of your fucking mouth. Simple as that.
Absolute.
They swear they're just so much better than every fucking body. Like, I haven't been on the front lines. Like, I haven't been marching. Granted, this is something new for you guys, and you guys want to help push the movement, but guess what? I am the fucking movement. I've been doing this. I could post up pictures from 10, 15 years ago of me marching. This is before Black Lives Matters. You can check my IG with me with the Free Palestine flag. Come on, fans, stop trying to try me. And then you try to tell me, if you're not allowing civil discourse and you're out trying to cancel somebody, you're part of the problem. And one of my favorite taglines, like I always say, you'll suck my whole dick. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So, let's go push them to the side, right where they fucking belong on everything that's African American issues, and let's go talk about something that we didn't discuss beforehand. That's gonna
Okay.
be Bubba Watson.
Oh.
Yes, Bubba Watson is an African American NASCAR driver.
Yes.
I don't know the demographics on that shit, but let's just assume it's not many. They found him and his team found a rope with a noose like hanging on in the garage. They informed NASCAR. NASCAR informed the FBI, and for an investigation. Come find out, the noose, depending on who you ask, is dependent on the answer that you get. Several people will say this is common to find in a garage, while some people say like sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. There's different levels of it, but mainly is it hasn't come out to be a racially motivated attack.
Now, see, from what I understand of the story, another component of it was how long it was in there. They said that the noose had actually been in there for like anywhere from a couple weeks to maybe a couple months. Now, I understand why that kind of changed the dynamic of the case, but if you consider when all sports got shut down, if it was in there a couple months, like somebody still might have done it to be a dick. They just didn't know when motherfuckers was going back to work. So they snuck in there when nobody was there, put the shit up there to be assholes, whatever.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So that's what they did. It's a funky situation, honestly.
So I think we could all be a bit relieved. I mean, if it isn't a racially motivated attack, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's people's reactions that I have a problem with. I applaud NASCAR for jumping on this fast. They immediately went into investigation, and when they felt like they needed more hype, immediately informed the FBI.
Right. They ain't bullshit like the NFL.
And it seems like they did a pretty good job with doing it. And I applaud them for that.
Shouts to them.
Now,
Yeah.
the people who, aren't such huge fans of black people feel like that this is a reason to start canceling Bubba or just be mad like, oh, you see, not everything's racially motivated. And that's not always the case. All because one incident may not be wrong. And there's that whole like Jussie Smollett shit.
Smollett. Yeah.
And like, all because one incident comes out false or fraudulent, it doesn't disband the whole movement. Everybody's so quick to paint everything African American with such a huge brush. You people. And that's what I have a huge problem with.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people? We got to talk about that too. The Robert Downey Jr. People mad at that are pretty fucking dumb. It's like the whole point could just punch you right in the face. Just like I was talking about with the girl earlier. How she was just like, oh, I'm so dismayed. People was calling me a rat, which is, disrespectful to Jewish people. And people said I should die in the oven and all that stuff. And, it was really, really hurtful. And only one person apologized. I'm just like, wow, the point could punch you right in the fucking face and you still miss it. How do you feel?
You're not getting it. And that's, you know what? And this is something I love to make comparisons. My favorite thing to do when I have a discussion with somebody is I need to see where you stand so that I can tailor my point to what you fuck with, right? So this issue with the noose, right?
Right.
Oh, well, see, everything's not racial, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's true. So you take a situation like what's this bitch's name? Amber Heard?
Yes, with Johnny Depp.
Yes. Now, you take that situation. Oh, he hit me, he's abusive, he's this, he's that. Lying ass bitch. Lying. Just outright lying. Ruined this man's whole entire fucking life. Just fucked it up. And I am personally offended because I fucks with Johnny Depp. Hard body. I fucks with Johnny Depp.
Who can hate Johnny Depp? He's just so himself.
How can you?
He's just so himself and so fucking chill.
Bro, he's just a delightful little weirdo, and he just wants to play crazy roles in movies. And she fucked that all up.
And you know what, though? And the thing is, when that came out, I fucking believed her. I can't believe Johnny Depp is really like this. Putting hands on females like, yeah.
Oh, no, I did not. Me and my girlfriend heard that shit and was like, oh? Johnny Depp. Bitch, you lie. No, no. But see, but that's the problem. That's the problem. In this situation, now, okay, somebody might look at this and be like, oh, see, these women lie. Abuse isn't that big a problem.
Exactly.
And now you out here, you fucking it up for people. You fucking it up for people. Things need to be taken situationally. We need to stop trying to put this generalized brush on everything that comes up.
Exactly. And that reminds me of the phrase believe women. You know, when a woman says she's been sexually assaulted, they're like, oh, well, what was she wearing? What was she doing? Was she drinking? Was she acting like a hoe? And then they're just like, you just need to believe women when they say that this has happened.
It's really simple.
But it's a slippery slope because, like you said, it's situational. In this
Right.
case, Amber Heard wasn't being truthful. Does that mean all women wasn't being truthful? Absolutely
No.
not. I do think women should be believed, but you can't blanket every single person. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's probably not even nowhere near equal. The amount of, I mean, I'm pretty sure the amount of cases not reported dwarfs any amount of cases where the woman is lying in the situation. You can't paint
Absolutely.
everything with such a broad stroke all the time.
Absolutely.
As sometimes it's appropriate, as sometimes it's not. But really what it means, really what I hope it means, is that when every case is reported, it is taken seriously.
Right, right. And that's what we need. And we need that for everything. We need that in LGBT cases. We need that in racial situations. We need that everywhere, all the time. We need
and
people to look at these
unbiasedly
cases.
too. Unbiasedly. And everybody has implicit bias. Everybody is biased about something.
Right, exactly.
I've never liked Jordan, and that's because of this whole racist situation. I will always go harder for Jordan because people come up to me, oh, what about Johnny Bananas? I'm not saying he's problematic, but I do feel more strongly about this. And being able to recognize it and address it and disregard it when necessary is important. So you got to be able to identify that. That is emotional intelligence.
That's another thing too. In general, I just wish people could keep it real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't,
keep the same energy.
Right, right. And it's like, listen, there are certain things. There are priorities in my mind. You know, there are certain things that mean more to me than other things. And instead of going back to the idea of cancel culture, I don't agree with that shit either. Cancel culture is some sheep shit, and I don't like it at all. If as an individual you feel like you don't want to support this company, this show, whatever, because of someone's actions, fine. That is an individual choice, and that is your right to make that choice. However, everyone, boycott this and boycott that, and fuck. First of all, like I said on one of the other shows, you can't boycott something you weren't patronizing to begin with.
Exactly.
If you wasn't spending money there to begin with, you ain't hurting nobody. So shut the fuck up right there. 2, we don't boycott right. Let's keep it a buck. We talked about boycotts, but it's like I'm saying, Walmart, that shit like right around the corner. That shit dumb cheap. I mean Macy's be having them fucking Black Friday sales. I'm trying to. People don't stop pretending like you really give a fuck. You have a set of priorities. Your priorities might be like, fuck that. My kids need these gifts for Christmas, and Walmart got the best prices. I'm going there. Fuck it. I don't care how they treat their employees. Say it. Say that shit out loud. Own up to that shit. If you don't care, you don't care. That's fine. But I need people to stop pretending like they give a fuck, because that keeps us from progressing. That keeps us from having real ass conversations that can help us do better and be better. So just keep it a buck, yo.
Keep it a buck. Let's go ahead and move on.
Yes, sir.
Aunt Jemima. How do you say that shit?
Oh, man. Aunt Jemima. You got it.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
She's been canceled. She's being replaced by something probably less racist.
Fingers crossed. We don't know who's in that boardroom. We know who's in that boardroom.
Yeah, we know exactly. Talk to me.
So remember when I was talking about priorities?
I'm glad me and you are on the same page. I was just like, I want this motherfucker to get his shit out first, because if he says anything that I'm not going to say, I need to address that shit. Okay. I see now we are on the same page.
oh, I know that there is a part of me that, as a functional civil member of society, I should care about this, but god damn it, I don't. And let me tell you why. I don't care because though the original representation of the character has probably just the ugliest of roots, and the if I remember the story correctly, the woman who was used as the icon was not anywhere near properly compensated, nor is her estate, which can be easily rectified. They can fix that shit. Go ahead and throw some money they motherfucking way. They deserve it. But honestly, when I look at that bottle, I see my relatives.
You don't feel oppressed by the syrup? Race traitor?
I mean, I can see my aunt when I look at that bottle, and it just makes me think of the delicious fucking fried chicken she makes, which sounds uber coonish, but it's some really good fried chicken. Like, so I mean, it's, and then, I mean, this is something that Black people do. We take things that are oppressive, that are terrible, and we find the good in them. We flip the narrative.
Try to turn it great.
Exactly. So I mean, to me, I never looked at that and saw something terrible. I looked at that and I saw, like, yeah, when I think breakfast, I think my aunt. She makes amazing fucking breakfast, and I can see her kind of represented in that image. Like, so yeah, to me, the priority in my mind is different. You know, I do think that there needs to be immediate monetary compensation for that woman's estate. I think there needs to be a statement made, a public statement made on the history of that icon. If these motherfuckers got to put up money for a documentary for the origins of, do that. Please educate the people. But for me personally, nah, y'all good. Y'all can leave that shit. I mean, shit. The Redskins still have the fucking logo and name that they have, and they ain't budging. I think we have bigger priorities.
Dan sat over there like, yo, fuck the other side.
No, he said y'all can all eat a dick. We ain't never changing this name. Like,
all right.
I think we got bigger priorities. Nah, maybe it's just me.
Okay, so we're not 100% on the same page, but very similar.
Okay.
I applaud this move. I applaud this move because it was proactive. Now, we all know when you start doing that proactive shit after people start getting canceled, it's self-serving. But
absolutely.
But I'll give it to him.
Still a good move.
This could be a problem at some point. Let's go ahead and take care of it now. Could this have been done 50 years ago? Sure. But I said, okay, all right. You guys are fixing something that is a problem. Fixing something that a lot of us didn't even realize was a problem. But I give you guys points. Good for you. I do like the move. I do applaud the move. But priorities. Is this a good thing? Yes. Do I applaud it? Yes. Do we have bigger problems? Absolutely.
Bigger problems.
This reminds me of another move. And Chrissy, I see you unbothered. Yo, what's good? Love you guys. So this reminds me of another thing that's going on is that in the South, they're not going to use master bedroom to describe bedrooms from realtors. Sure, good move, but how about stop fucking African Americans on house loans and putting them in certain neighborhoods and that kind of stuff? These things are more important. Good move, applauded, thank you for being proactive, but this is less than the bare minimum.
No.
And don't get me wrong.
Bedroom thing, no.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. It's not a bad move, but it's less than the bare minimum. It's like you guys are trying to talk about changes, but these aren't the changes that we're talking about. Is it helpful? It's not hurtful, but there's so much more you guys can do. So much. So much. Less than the bare minimum. And that's how I describe it. Less than the bare minimum.
Yeah, nah, that's perfectly worded, honestly, because with the money you motherfuckers have, with the way that you can manipulate legislation to serve your needs, and this is a thing that people don't understand as a citizen. People don't understand their rights as citizens, and they don't understand their responsibilities as citizens. We have to put the pressure on these motherfuckers to make real changes. We cannot expect people in power to willingly give up that power.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck would they?
You got to take it. One of
You
my
got
one of my favorite things to put out there on social media is something I believe in so much, and that is shoot back. I'm not advocating violence or any of that shit, but if I'm in a situation, shoot back. They're not giving up shit unwillingly. And I feel bad for whoever puts me in a situation where that has to happen. I'm all for peace, and it saddens me. It overall saddens me, especially with the weight of the world and how things are going, especially for my people who are problematic as fuck. But I love to death. Our mere existence shouldn't be problematic for most people.
right.
So do more than the bare minimum. It sucks
Just that simple.
yeah, it sucks that we have to ask for civil rights. It sucks that we have to ask to be treated as we should be treated. And let me tell you something. I'm quite frankly tired of fucking asking. I'm tired of requesting. I'm tired of having, we all know you getting on the freeway, you see that cop car. I'm, you know, I the overall
How your
fear.
chest feel?
Yeah,
How your
the
chest
overall
feel?
fear of just being an African American. It's so stressful, and people wonder why we have these health conditions. Sometimes sometimes it's stressful just to get out of the fucking house, and I wish it could be different, but I'm tired of
Is what it
asking,
is.
and a lot of us are. But
Facts.
let's get off the let's pull it back from the doomsday cliff, and let's go move on to NoName versus J. Cole. Now, I really wish I would have put more
Jesus.
thought into how I was going to address this, because first off, I never heard of NoName until this time.
I will be 100% honest. Neither did I.
But No
Like
Name seems to be the real deal. She's very much part of the movement, very much an activist,
facts,
and I respect it.
facts. Yes,
So,
very intelligent. Very she is definitely somebody who cares about the cause, who puts her time and her energy into educating people. She does fucking work, bro. Like there's no other way to put it.
and she does. So, a lot of respect for her. This started when she made she put out a tweet addressing J. Cole. And that tweet was basically along the lines of like, oh, people love making music about black people and the black plight. But when it's time to protest and be seen and tweet more and do more, you guys are nowhere to be seen. Now J. Cole is very much out there protesting. He has very much been a man of the cause. I love J. Cole as an artist. I
Agreed.
can't stand J. Cole fans. We all know big shout out Tough Tone, who just loves to tell you
damn,
everything
that's
about
exactly what I was thinking
how
of.
how great about everything great about how great J. Cole is, and he is. But when it's always just so always out there, it gets a little annoying.
So sometimes you gotta chill.
Exactly. And J. Cole responded back with a song. The name of the song escapes my mind though. Do you remember the name of the song?
I want to say Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff. After
Um,
the show on Netflix that I have never watched. So
Neither have I. What do I be doing?
is it good, man? Maybe we need to put that on the list. I don't know,
Fuck it.
but
I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
bet. So so he put out the song, and basically he's just like, it's not that you're wrong, I just dislike your tone, and try to like educate people more. And then that's where everything was split after that. 'Cause people were just like, well, she has a whole book club. Why don't you educate yourself? Why are you, tone splaining, women? And then she responds back with her song, if that's what you can call it. It's like a minute long. And people are really split on how to take it. And I think this is a situation where it's okay to be for both sides and against both. Both of them could have shut the fuck up. Both of this probably could have been handled in a phone call or a couple of texts.
Hey,
I don't
this
think.
is why This is exactly why I don't have these arguments in public forums. I'm sorry, not these arguments, these discussions. Now, Cole did not need to make an entire fucking song about this. He didn't. He did not.
Even though it was a good song.
No. That's not what we're discussing because it was a good song.
Back to the point.
Right, back to the point. It didn't need to be made. Like, he very easily, like you said, could have been a text message, could have been a phone call, something where it's like, yo, shit, honestly, they could have set up a public Instagram chat where it's the two of them talking one-on-one and allow people to listen to the back and forth discussion that they have. Now, J. Cole historically has been known to try to have these conversations with people. I know he did an interview with, I want to say it was like Lil Pump or one of those group chats.
Yeah, Lil Pump or Lil Yachty or something like that. I think it was Yachty.
So, well, he might have also done one with Yachty. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of, and I want to say it was Lil Pump. I don't know why that's the one in my head.
Yeah, rainbow hair or pink hair.
No, but he had like there were tattoos everywhere, and I don't know what was happening with his teeth. But anyway, so like J. Cole has a history of being willing to have these discussions. So to me, I mean, just like nitpicking, it looked suspect to me that he wasn't willing to have a discussion with someone who was on equal or higher intellect level.
He even addressed it such that she may be smarter than him.
Right.
But she also attacked him first.
Did she attack him?
Well,
or I mean, in my opinion, what she said was incorrect. I wouldn't call it an attack because she was also calling out Kendrick in that same situation. You know, you have these artists. You know, he did the whole To Pimp a Butterfly and all of that shit. Great fucking album, love it. But you know, people are like, yo, where are you when you're not promoting music? Where are you when you don't have, you know, work to do? You know, so I think she was wrong in that assertion. I mean, but a lot of us want more from our celebrities. A lot of us look at actors, actresses, musicians, athletes, and we want them to do so much because we feel like they have so much power. And some of them do. Absolutely. Someone like Jay-Z, Puffy, LeBron, like there's a lot of fucking power in their hands. But as individuals, I don't think they have as much power as we think they do.
Right.
There's always more power in coming together. And to that end, we're going to stay on this topic of the NoName situation because it spiraled into something completely different once you mentioned Beyonce. But if you want to look at unity in action, look at Kansas State. Now, there was a tweet that was made by a known white supremacist on the Kansas State campus. He tweeted a horrible fucking joke about George Floyd, saying that it was like a month after he had died, and it said, "Oh, he's now a month drug free."
Oh shit!
Right. So people were like, you know what the fuck, Kansas State? Like, you just gonna let you? I mean, it's bad enough that you let him do what he does. He has a podcast and all of this shit where he just spouts hate speech on a regular basis, and you let that rock. He's putting himself out here on Twitter on a public forum as a representative of your college. Oh, you're not gonna do nothing? Fine. We're not playing. All black athletes, actually, I can't even just say all black athletes because from
pretty sure there's some pissed white people too.
Right. So I know at least from the football team, they were like, we're not even meeting for practice until something is fucking done. And their coaches are behind them. The administration is behind them. This is what unity does. Right? So now you come back to this situation and it's like, yes, J. Cole has a massive fucking following. Absolutely, without question. His music is how he reaches these people. It's how he motivates these people. Whether he's out there in the streets or not, I don't know. I'm not gonna see that. I'm not big on social media. I don't follow J. Cole. Like I don't care about that. I know that music is what he does, so I want him to put it in the music. And he does that. And Kendrick does that. And Childish Gambino does that. And Chance the Rapper does that. And Joey Badass does that. There's a lot of artists that do that. And they put their money where their mouth is because they're also employing black people. They're also donating to causes and things of that nature. So, that all being said, Cole really should have just shut the fuck up. Like, you know your track record, bro. Why did you have to make an entire fucking song to tone police someone who's doing just as much as you are for the cause, just in a different lane? That was unnecessary. Why are we fighting each other? We're all, like Hooper said, we're all going in the same direction. Why are we fighting each other, bro? Why?
It's a great fucking band. A great
It
band
is.
that sounds almost exactly like the band we're going to be discussing later on today.
Yeah, it does. Look at me. See, I'm trying to get on my shit, man. I'm trying to get better at this. I be listening to the Joe Budden podcast. I see how he be talking about Rory and Maul. I'm learning.
You know what? I've actually never listened to the Joe Budden podcast, or even when he was with Complex. And I like Joe Budden. I like people be like, name 5 Joe Budden songs. I'd be like, I'm not the one to try. I can name several.
I can go track by track on an album. Like, are you guys fuck with me?
Let's not even talk about the whole Mood Music series. Like, that shit was fucking poetry.
Let's not talk about the Padded Room, Rage Against the Machine. Don't get
Remember
me
the Titans.
started.
You know what? From his first album, You Ain't Gotta Go Home, still one of my favorite tracks. Still on every playlist I have.
Bruh, All of Me featuring Imani.
Oh yeah, she was on a whole bunch of his tracks. But let's go ahead and jump into the music. It was my week, so you know that it is definitely going to pop.
Oh, is that where we're at? That's how we're calling it?
I mean, I haven't had that many misses. Okay, maybe the Baby album wasn't the greatest, but at least not as many as you. So I may not be great, but as long as I'm better than you, I can live with that.
So as long as your opponent don't get a perfect, you count that as a win.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
That's dope. Okay, way to live.
So I picked Incubus, Trustfall, Side B. Now, Side A came back out in 2015, and it was great. Right. I believe it was something like 4 or 5 or 6 tracks, and it was dope, and they dropped Side B. Now, I'm an Incubus fan. I always liked Incubus. Those guys was always really cool to me. A bunch of cool dudes.
Absolutely.
Very rarely has I ever have a album came out, or this is an EP, and it immediately goes into like one of the most played. I played this thing as soon as I heard it. It was just masterful music making. I love it through and through. I don't think there's anything bad to say about this album at all. But before we go into the finer details of this EP that they put out, let's get your thoughts on it.
I mean, honestly, we talked about this earlier. Like, bro, I was just mad it ended. Like, I really don't. Even because I would say like track 2. I felt a little like it felt a little off. It felt a little out of place for me. But
really, because for me it was the last track, Paper Cuts. That one felt a little bit off to me.
No.
All I can say about that one is that it wasn't. It was my least favorite track on there, and I still love it, but it just wasn't my favorite track on there. So you felt that about 2. Our Love, which I love.
Our Love, yeah.
Our Love was like the single that came off of it. But
no, and see that's the thing. I that might be what bothered me. Not to say that I'm, that guy who's just like, oh, it's got to be all underground and, fuck the mainstream. I'm totally not that guy.
No, not at all.
That felt like all right, well, we got to make at least one single, so fuck it, let's put this on here.
Very.
But it was still good though.
It was
Like,
still
it's
good.
not a
There are no
bad
bad
song.
tracks. Now,
No.
I want to ask you a question, and I highlighted the song that I think we're both going to agree on. If you had to choose which one would be the main single, the one song that you think is the best that embodies this whole entire album, what song is it?
That's rude. That's rude. That's rude. Don't
I
ask
just
me
want to
that.
see we're on the same page.
Shit.
So I highlighted it. Your favorite track?
My favorite track. Honestly, it's between Into the Summer and On Without Me. And if I had to pick,
On Without Me.
and I was gonna say, if I had to pick one, and it's only because it's Incubus, right? Fuck what the world says. I like early Maroon 5, the first two albums.
Those were classics. I still like Maroon 5. They're very much into the whole stadium rock thing, but
Right.
they only got there because they made good music. Songs
Right.
about Jane?
Right.
Hey, here goes 13 songs about fucking.
So good.
So good.
Fucking good. So Into the Summer gave me kind of a Maroon 5 vibe, which I was fine with. No problems with that ever. But On Without Me felt more like an Incubus song. And I think that's why like that one moves me a little bit more than the other tracks.
Absolutely. Incubus doesn't get too crazy with their percussion, but this sounded like it was just so much. So many layers went into the music. So many different breakdowns. Oh, let's take out the guitar here, just percussion here. Brandon Boyd is he has complete control over his vocal talents. And
Jesus
On Without
Christ.
Me, it's just every once in a while, I don't listen to a lot of new music, and most new music annoys the shit out of me. But every once in a while, a song just comes on, and I'm just like, and I fell in love with it. Like, remember when you were 14 or 15? I saw this meme, and this meme made me think of this song. It showed Lisa Simpson on a train with the headphones in, and she has a solemn look on her face. And the meme was, when you keep playing that one song that hurt you because it didn't hurt you enough. And I was just like, and the first song that popped in my head was this. And right after that was another Incubus song with Dig. Oh man, I love that song. On Without Me is just masterful music making through and through. And I'm going to use that word masterful a couple more times when we get into the movie.
You have no choice. You have no choice.
But check this out. The track Into the Summer, which I loved. It was definitely, for the songs on this album, it was a lot more brighter and more poppy.
Right.
And that definitely can come through as definitely come through as an early single. But the synths on it reminded me of a Cyndi Lauper 80s kind of thing. But after listening to it so many times, you know what it reminded me of? Been around the world and
Oh my God.
Yes. So all of these things are mixed together. This 80s synth vibe, sample, the Biggie and Mace song. And I was just like, oh, this song is just perfect. They know exactly what they're doing. Incubus knows exactly what they're doing. All reality, me and you could probably sit here and just gush about this album all day.
Easy.
But I'm just going to say
five tracks.
5
And we
tracks,
could just
20
lose our
minutes.
shit.
20 minutes. Listen, if you need 20 minutes of happiness, Incubus, Trustfall, Side B, Go and Be Happy. Go and Be Happy. You're welcome.
Absolute. That is a 100%. I don't know that we've had one of these before, but this is a 100%.
It's rare.
224 The Basement cosign.
Yeah, it's rare.
This shit.
And I have nothing negative to say about this. It is short, it is sweet, and it is just it brings me much, much joy. I mean, absolutely. I don't think there's many albums out there that two people would ever just be like, yo, this is masterful through and through. I think one other album we might feel that same way about might be something like Hybrid Theory or Minutes to Midnight, which are, masterful pieces of art.
Whoa.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Oh,
but
Jesus Christ. I was just listening to Reanimation in the car when I went to the store
you know,
earlier.
You know what? You know, it's funny. My brother Jooms, he was gushing about Reanimation about 2 years ago, and he was talking to me about how the sounds in the intro are also the same things for the outro, and it's how
Yes.
the whole band went through this whole transformation and circled back around. I'm just like,
It's amazing.
I'm
It's
just like,
amazing.
I was getting mad when somebody tells me something about something that I already love that I didn't know. Like, and I know they're right. I'm just like, so
How dare you blow my mind? The fuck is wrong
exactly.
with you?
Exactly. Once again, Incubus, Trustfall, Side B, 20
Mm,
minutes. That's a short car ride to work. Be
mm,
happy. Be happy.
mm.
Let's go ahead and move on to. I'm on the road today with my choices. Let's go ahead and move into the movie.
Okay. I've only, you know what? Take a break. You relax. You've earned this one, sir.
All right.
Because your movie choice, The Five Bloods, duh. DA, duh, Five Bloods. First of all, the title alone, I was like, oh, this is
Okay.
about to be some shit.
You, you know how they say there's like dog whistle racism? Like when they say people who are thugs or be tough on
Right.
crime. When somebody
Right.
says duh in their name, you're just like, oh, you talking to me? What was that me you was referring to?
Must have been. So, okay, all right. I'm gonna keep it a buck. First and foremost, I walked into this movie, and the only thing I knew was that Chadwick Boseman was in it. That's all I knew. I did not know this was a Spike Lee movie.
Mm.
So, oh boy, was I surprised
Oh
when I
yeah.
started watching this movie.
Did,
And
did,
I am,
did you not realize it was a Spike Lee movie like 2 minutes into it? Just like, yeah, this is definitely Spike Lee shit.
and I'm so glad that you said that because no, I didn't. I did not realize it was a Spike Lee movie until 3/4 of the way through that bitch.
At what point
Bro,
did you know it was a Spike Lee movie?
I need to pay this man the respect that he deserves.
Please do. Spike Lee
When
is.
when Delroy Lindo
I know what part.
first and
I know what
first
part.
first and foremost, we need a new acting award created just for him. Because when I say that he killed this shit, when I say that this man put on an acting fucking clinic in
Mm,
this bitch,
facts.
when I say that he created a level of immersion,
Facts. Speak your shit, blood.
bruh, this motherfucker right here, and it's not to say that he's not already a legend far before this movie.
No, there's
He's in
clockers. There's
it,
there's
this man,
Crooklyn. Delroy Lindo
this
been
man,
that dude.
he been out here killing it for decades. But this shit right here, dog, this shit right here,
This shit
bruh,
right here.
I I am fortunate enough to not suffer from PTSD. I do not have those problems. I have not been in the positions that would cause those issues for me. However, watching this man, and I would love nothing more than to talk to a veteran, to talk to somebody from the hood who has been through gang violence and things like that. I would love to talk to these people and see what they think of his betrayal of PTSD, because I feel like I understand it on a much deeper level now. That shit ruined his entire fucking life. Every single aspect of it came to ruin because of the shit that he experienced out in that jungle, out in Vietnam. Bruh, this movie, I don't know what you might think that it is, but it's so much more. It is so much fucking more. And I love that it was the Vietnam War. I love that they show this relationship between Black Americans and Asia. And there are so many scenes throughout the movie, so many hills and valleys of escalation and tension, all born from kind of going through the same trauma. And when they had Shorty on the mic, when she was doing the radio show, and she was breaking down different points of like, you've been oppressed just like we've been oppressed.
They
The
really
white man,
did that, right? That was a
yes,
real
yes,
tactic.
yes. And this is the thing. How real is that shit though? Because that's I'll put myself out there. Let me be vulnerable for a second. That is a big thing. I think of why I love Asian culture so much. I feel like there is an unspoken kinship between us. And this is not any disrespect to like the Hispanic community or anything like that. I don't see us as separate. When I say black people, I think of people in Brazil. I think of people in South America and Mexico and shit like that.
People have
Like,
been marginalized and oppressed.
right, y'all with us. Y'all just know two languages. That's all. Like, I'm not, so when I say that I feel this brotherhood with them, it's not that I don't feel it with y'all. I absolutely do.
Right. You're
But
not trying to all lives matter the situation.
exactly. But in this situation, it's just like this is an entirely different world. They are the entire other side of the country. Yet a lot of their experiences are very similar to our own. There are things, concepts of it takes a village to raise a child, right? I had to explain that to some of my students, students from Russia, Germany, France, Italy, things like that. That's a concept I had to explain to them. That's not something that I had to explain to an Asian person. It's something that's just part of their society. There are a lot of things that they do, a lot of understandings that they have that are very similar to the things that we understand. There are some things that are completely foreign as well.
Right.
But so watching this movie and seeing how in that specific scene when she was on the mic and she was just like, yo, we going through the same shit. And you over here fighting a war for them. Why? Why are you helping them oppress us? And that shit hit different.
It's real. And a lot of people felt that. That sentiment and that feeling is one of the things that drove Muhammad Ali to behave the way he did during it.
Yes.
And he was stripped of his title and he was jailed. And he is one of the reasons why he will always be a legend. That brother is the truth. There's a reason why he is the most popular Muslim in the world and one of the people who has anything bad to say about Muhammad Ali. I mean, God, the conviction behind that. As the world champ, I'm not going to go out there and oppress these people for what? You won't even protect me back here. Like, God, man, it was before our time, but people need to know this shit. You know what I
mean? They ain't never called me no nigga. They ain't never sick dogs on me. They never turned hoses on me. Mm-hmm. Like, why? Why should I go there and fight them? I should be fighting you.
That's that shit. We could go ahead and gush about this all day. The Five Bloods was just great. Now, it was a long movie, 2.5 hours, something like that. And normally, I say, as a criticism, this movie could be short. If it's not between 90 minutes, if it's the perfect movie for me is between 80, 90 minutes to 2 hours, usually max. Like The Irishman that Netflix put out earlier was a great movie, but that shit was like 4 hours and change. You could have split that shit into a 4-part miniseries, really. This movie was long, but it didn't feel that way. That time rolled off perfect. Did it have to be this long? No, but when I go back and think about what would I trim,
good luck.
Like, it felt all necessary. It felt. What are you going to trim? Chadwick Boseman's flashback appearances?
No. That gives a deeper understanding of the PTSD that Delroy was feeling.
Not to mention the whole context for the fucking movie.
Right.
What are we going to trim? Delroy Lindo's monologue?
Oh,
not a
you.
Single fucking second.
Fuck you.
Let me tell you something. One word. Acting. Acting.
All of it.
The difference between that and so much other shit is that he looked directly in the camera, looked you directly in your eyes, and you felt that shit. You can take it back to a part you didn't even really know you had. And man, Very few movies could. I mean, don't get me wrong. Me and wifey have very different tastes in movies. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very much for these thought provoking. I like
Mm.
movies that make me feel something and that keep me
Yes.
going a couple of days afterwards.
Yes.
She doesn't like to get dragged so deep into movies sometimes, which there's nothing wrong with that, but wants it a little bit more surface stuff. And God
Yeah.
knows we can use that sometimes because some people are so got their head so far up their asses. Maybe me a little
Nope.
bit, but
Oh shit.
but even her, she was engaged through the whole thing, and when she was done, she was like, "This is a good movie. It was a good movie."
Shit was real.
And like it was a perfect movie, and it's perfectly timed for right now
Mm.
with all of this. The
Oh my god.
pacing was on point because to make a 2.5 hour movie still immersive, that's not easy. That's
And
not
it,
easy.
I'll say this. I'll say this. When they introduced dude's son, I thought that the cast was gonna get a little too like too convoluted. I thought there was gonna be too many
Too many old
stories to
people.
tell. I, bruh, they killed it. They killed it in every fucking aspect. Like,
Right, and that also brings a younger generation into it because now you got a younger somebody who you can directly relate to, and still have the emotions for the old people, and that's kind of your point of view into dealing with these old people. Well, not so much these
bruh,
old people being old and their old values, but
bruh.
but he looks at them through the view that one of us would view it through it. And none of this is by mistake. None of this is just fell into each other. This
Exactly.
and this is another thing that put me off. I don't know what the budget was for this movie. But Spike Lee doesn't make, for the most part, hugely expensive movies. Usually his wartime movies are going to be bigger budget. And as great as Spike Lee is, there's been a couple of misses. There was that
Right.
musical thing with the Chicago thing.
That
Yeah,
that did not hit.
it,
That did
it
not hit.
I just wasn't really I like I see what you're trying to do. I feel it, but do I like it? Kind of like Outkast. I love what Outkast does. I love how they do it. Do I listen to their albums all the time? No, it's just not really
Nah.
my steez. Not that there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with them. This movie is just it's timely with everything going on in the world. It is masterfully put together. I would say not all of the dialogue between the characters are that great. You,
Mm.
the young guy and the white woman, that didn't really seem to mesh that great for me, and that is really my biggest criticism of the whole movie.
Really? Because I loved it.
I,
Honestly.
I
Like,
no no, I thought it was well acted, and I
mm,
thought it was realistic, and I loved the way it played out. But for me, I just didn't feel. I didn't really, it didn't really mesh with me well, and it's hard for me to put on why that is. I think
right.
maybe that white character, or maybe some of the other white characters should have been treated with a little bit more respect. The guy who screws
Mm.
him over at the end, there was very little character development into him. You heard about him from
Mm.
the Asian girl. There's that one scene where they're together, and he doesn't come off very much as a bad guy. And then at the end, he is the ultimate bad guy. I felt like maybe that could have been built up a little bit more. And
Really?
these are really my only, but it wasn't really about the bad guy. It wasn't really about the
Right,
bad shit
right.
at the end, or the villainization of some of the local muscle that they had. These kind of fell into traditional movie tropes, which
Right, 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 right.
always going to be there. So I felt like that could have used a little bit more work. Would I know the way of how to do it? No. So, so I'm assuming that's as good as it gets, and those are my only criticisms of the movie. Besides that, 5 stars through and through. If you don't
And I
like
mean,
this movie,
honestly, yeah, no, it's a you problem if you don't like this movie.
mm,
In my opinion. In my opinion. But like honestly, the interactions that they had with like the Frenchmen and stuff like that, I feel like at least for me, it was very obvious where that was gonna go. When they had that interaction, and I think maybe okay, there's no way to say this and not come across narcissistic, so fuck it, whatever. So with the experiences that I've had working with people around the world, there are there are stereotypes, there are old beefs that are still being held, that are still being passed down generationally and things of that nature. What you see in this movie is how long this beef can cook.
Mm.
If you think shit is bad between you and somebody up the block, no. No, 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 no. Think of how bad some shit is between one country and another. Because between you and the dude up the block, there's opportunities to talk, there's opportunities to see each other, there's opportunities to get past that. When you're talking about an entire population of people, some of which are going to be educated, some of which are not, some of which are going to see the news and learn about globalization, and some are not. And there's going to be a lot of conversations that are had, and there's going to be a lot of different experiences that are had, a lot of losses taken that are going to stick. And that shit's going to hurt for a long fucking time. I'm growing up without a grandfather because these motherfuckers came over here and killed him. And they're going to hold on to that shit.
It's
So
generational.
it's generational. So when he had that argument with the French dude about, you know, how America had to come and save their ass in World War II and all of that shit, generational, bro. Like, how old is that? And they, fuck no, we not letting that go. And you gonna sit here and talk shit to me? We're the reason that you not eating sauerkraut and speaking German and all that other shit that he was talking. And I was like, when
that has
happened,
been used before for years. People have said that
Right.
about French people, and that's just another thing that I really love so much about this movie. I love how flawed the protagonist Delroy Lindo was. He's
Love
a
it.
black guy who's a Trump supporter who throws around words like gook and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, is he 100% wrong about everything he said about French people? No, but it is very problematic in the way it's being presented because we all know
Yes.
it was way deeper than just that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
love
I
it.
mean, we've
Fucking
all
love
seen
it.
the flawed protagonist before, but all reality, if he wasn't a protagonist, and he has PTSD, you probably would hate his fucking guts, or even better, you would ignore the fuck out of him. So the protagonist is somebody who you yourself, you probably know somebody just like this, and you ignore them fucking religiously. I love that. Like the one person who you don't want to talk to at the barbecue, this is the guy who you're gonna have to follow through this movie.
That one dude on Facebook who's saying a lot of things to another friend of yours.
Yes, exactly. And you mute him so you never have to see that shit again. This is the guy you're going to have to listen to. And this just speaks to the brilliance behind Spike Lee and everybody else who was involved. Because like 4 or 5 people who went into this script. Because this movie exactly was in developmental hell for a long time. And it went through a lot of different phases. This wasn't even a black movie until Spike Lee got to it. And so I feel like they cherry picked a lot of the best parts. And man, you know what? This is, if you got the 2.5 hours to spare, watch it. Because take away everything you can take from it. Go and be entertained by a great filmmaker striding in his zone. In his zone. This is a return to form for Spike Lee. And Spike Lee, he doesn't get the respect that he fucking deserves. And yo, are you drinking a 211?
Yes, that was on my list of things. Yes, Bold Rock, Sapporo, and now we're on Steel Reserve. Yes, and how well timed.
That's heavy, bro.
Time is an illusion. I do what the fuck I want. It's Sunday.
All right. So that has been. I you know what? I feel really, really good about the. Man, I feel like today was a really, really great episode. But we can't sit here all day and talk our shit. We gotta close it out. But not before we take it down to a little place I like to call Choo Choo
Choo.
Recommendation Station. So it's my week, which means you go first. What do you got for our listeners?
Okay, so I've been going back and forth on trying to decide what I'm gonna recommend and what I'm gonna actually put for next week's pod. I'm gonna go light. I'm gonna go light for this one. My recommendation is going to be Deon Cole, ColeHearted. This is one of my favorite stand-ups. This motherfucker is a complete and utter fool. But, and this is something I appreciate about comedians, where they can not only make you feel something real, but they can give you something real that you could walk away from and apply to your life. And he does it like right in the midpoint. You know, it's real jokey from the start, and it's hilarious. I mean, my girlfriend was in tears, like she could barely breathe. We had to pause several times so she could recover herself. But I love the brother because at the midway point, the jokes kind of stopped, and he just kind of started talking to the people and telling them like, you know, things like, you know, you need to love yourself, you need to take care of yourself, you need to do better for yourself because you deserve better. And I love when comedians do this because they're taking this opportunity where they know they have your attention and they're trying to put something in your brain. They're trying to plant a seed in your brain. And he did that very well. And then went right back to the jokes. Went right back to it. Smooth as shit. So yeah, I would say my man Deon Cole. Deon Cole. ColeHearted, fantastic stand up. Go ahead and get you some laughs. Go ahead and learn a little something. And yeah, and enjoy this Sunday before you gotta go back to work.
I think that is a very good choice. I have seen that stand up. And I
Bruh.
started watching it. It was one of those days I was doing shit and I was up late. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just
Oh
like, all
Jesus.
right, I've seen the brother around. He's been on a couple of shows. He's on
Right,
the
right,
Old
right.
Spice commercial. So I was like, let me give him a fair shake. I don't really know that much about him.
Mm.
I got about 10 minutes into it, and then I stopped. And I was like, I got to get Monet in on this. I got to get my girlfriend in. I'm waiting
I
for the
can't do
next
this by
day,
myself.
and I was just like, hey, do you got time to watch this with me? Because I much people say TV rots your mind, and it's a good way for me to spend time. I'm always so busy, and I'm always doing
Mm,
shit. So TV for me is a time where I get to spend a lot of quality time with the people I love. I remember back
nice.
in New York, that's how I did it when we was hanging out. Hey, got this movie. Let's go check this out. So
Um,
and my sisters, who I love so much, we always bonded a lot over TV shows, watching them and then discussing them. And I know people don't always feel that way. People, bash people who watch too much TV. And I don't watch a whole
right,
bunch of
right,
TV, but if I feel something that'll relate to both of us, and because, like I said, we have two completely different tastes, we don't like the same
right,
shit. And I was like, she's going to love this. She was in tears the whole time. And you know it's good when she's like, rewind that back. Even
right.
down to the point where I'm just like, we're not rewinding this shit. This is an hour-long special. We're in 2 hours now. We can't keep rewinding this shit. It was hilarious. I loved it for the fact that I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it was. He completely shocked
Right.
me. It was great. It was black centric, but I'm sorry, you're drinking that too, Lover. I drink that shit all the time in college, and you're just guzzling it, and I love
This
it.
shit fucking you up? Like,
I'm getting drunk watching you drink it, and I know it costs you 36 cents too. It's fucking cost
bruh.
efficient.
So okay, so what's crazy is this was like I want to say it was like 230 at Food
Yeah,
Lion,
yeah.
and then but the Sapporo that I bought was like 326. Like, and
Import,
look at this shit. Hold up,
import.
look at this shit.
It's an import.
Like,
But back to Deon Cole. It is hilarious, hilarious. And don't get me wrong, I watch a lot of comedy, and I'm
oh yeah,
disappointed by a lot of comedy. Anthony
oh,
Jeselnik has turned to one of my favorite fucking comedians and human
he's
beings.
so fucking
So
funny
fucking
for
funny.
no
And,
reason.
and I
Like,
sent you the link too, so go back and listen to all the podcasts he does. Also, just
yes,
as funny.
yes.
But Deon Cole, great fucking choice. Great
Mm,
choice. That special was amazing. For me, I'm going to go just a little bit heavier, and
okay.
I'm going to recommend a organization. That
Oh,
organization is the NAACP. Now, like I said, I've been on the front lines. I've been doing shit. My chapter, we're in the South, and the South is getting hit real hard with COVID. And for the most part, there's not a lot going on in this area. People are still fighting the good fight. We're still doing what we got to do. It's
mm,
just very. It's hard. It's hard to get a lot of stuff together with everything that's going on.
right.
My issue with the NAACP is it is a very old organization. A lot of the people in the organization seems to be very old. The NAACP can use some new blood. Membership fees are very nominal. And even if you're not going to be a full-fledged member, they are a great source for being able to help black people achieve what we need to achieve, and that's equality in every facet of American life. So if you could just volunteer, or you can just help out, or just a lot of them have, well, you could just call them. Hey, what do you need? How can we help? Look towards your NAACP. It's full of good brothers and people who just want to help. And I know a lot of people want to be allies, and they want to help because they're against racism and they want to help the black cause. The NAACP is a great source for that. And especially because in your community, there's probably a local chapter. And if there's not, maybe there's something you can do about that. If you want to help, if you want to do more, this is a great source. And mind you, they work in their community. So not only are they a nationwide organization, not only are they a nationwide organization, you can do and help your own community. So the NAACP, reach out to them, see what you can do.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, shit. Make me feel like shit. Why don't you?
Sorry, man. Nothing wrong with going light. So, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I was saying, hey, check out this comic book with no black people in it. So, it's totally fine. I love the way that things are being turned around, and I love the overall mood where everybody is going.
Absolutely.
Don't do it for clout. Don't do it for the gram. Be for change. And don't only demand it, take it. That's going to close us out. Once again, make sure you visit our sponsor, Manscaped.com. Pick up the Lawnmower 3.0. Listen. Oh my God.
Please, if you love yourself, please do.
Yes.
My God.
Listen, if you're going to put your nuts in a nice girl's face, trim them up a little bit. Make it easy for her. Manscaped. Make sure you use the code LWC and you can get 20% off your order for the Lawnmower 3.0. Make sure you use the right tools for your family jewels. Make sure you visit thechallengegear.com. If you're a challenge fan, pick up all of your customizable challenge gear, mugs, t-shirts, jerseys, tanks, whatever you need. We got it. Ace, do you got anything to plug before we get out of here?
As a matter of fact, I do. For those music lovers out there, please, if you have the opportunity, check out 1245music.com. Not only do I feature on the site, but also my right-hand man, Rook Nash, family friend, and my uncle are on there. There's a lot of good music.
There's a new
track to check out.
that everybody heard today. Tell us where that track came from.
Actually, that came from my uncle, man. That's straight from the family right there. 1245 Music. You know what I'm saying? We hit him with a request and he came through like the bat signal was up. So
appreciate it.
Much love and support, you know what I'm saying? And like I mean, if you want to check out something new, you want to hear some music, man, 1245, we got you covered. It's our time.
No doubt. Make sure you follow me on all platforms at Malik_MTV. Make sure you follow Ace at
Ace of Spades 1245 on Twitter and Ace Metaphor with the number 4 on Instagram.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for hanging out with us while we talk our shit. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.